Welcome to the video on assignment creation and configuration in Schoology. By the end of this video, you'll be able to create assignments using the general academic and ATL scales, be able to understand the naming protocols, create unaligned assignments which use the completion description, and also learn how to omit early learning. To ensure consistency across our courses, they must align to our grading and assessment practices and also our teaching and learning philosophy. This will ensure we support our students' learning by providing ongoing, meaningful and clear feedback across all learning areas. In the video on gradebook setup, we already followed the HKS school-wide principles and practices to ensure that our gradebook setup reflected the HKS reporting taxonomy. This should also be done by organising evidence of learning into one continuous and chronological list that clearly communicates the multiple opportunities that students have had to demonstrate learning tied to measurement topics. Let's first get started with the naming protocols. When you create an assignment, it's important to use the correct naming conventions. The subject grade, in brackets, assessment type, hyphen, description. Assessment types can also include formative and summative as part of the evidence of learning. These should be indicated with an F or an S inside the name. This will ensure that all students know which class and what they need to complete for the task when it shows up in Schoology under their due tasks. Now let's move on to creating assignments using the general academic scale. If your assignments align to one or more academic learning objective, you should use the general academic scale. This means that your assignment will be graded and tied to a specific report card standard. When you create the assignment, make sure you click the Align button and align the assessment towards the appropriate learning objectives in Schoology. Only assessments which are aligned to measurement topics will appear within the standards gradebook. For assignments that only align to the approaches to learning, or ATL, you should use the ATL scale. This scale shows the overarching three categories: self-motivated learning, respect and responsibility, and collaboration. However, the feedback and data should still be collected related to the specific areas of each of these categories. In some circumstances, you may want to collect student data for ungraded assessments. For these, you should use the completion description scale. This allows you to track the student's progress without assigning a grade. You could also provide a comment for feedback on these assessments to ensure that you develop further the narrative of the student's learning. Both assessments which use the completion scale or the ATL scale, these assessments will be unaligned and will not appear within the mastery gradebook. You'll only be able to see the narrative and the comments within the legacy gradebook. Lastly, we'll walk through the omission of early learning. Omitting early learning from the gradebook is a practice that allows teachers to provide a more accurate picture of the student's current learning performance and for the learning to track their progress. As Schoology averages students' proficiency levels across reporting categories, teachers may omit early learning when the early learning does not accurately reflect the student's current proficiency level. There are a couple of scenarios when you may choose to omit early learning. You may choose to omit early learning for an entire class, for an individual student, or for an individual measurement topic within an assessment with multiple measurement topics. Subject teams may decide that an entire assessment from early learning should be omitted from the evidence of learning. Teachers should edit the assessment from the entire class by unaligning, so the learning objectives, also known as the measurement topics, do not appear for this assignment. This will remove the assignment from the mastery gradebook. If a classroom teacher decides that an assessment needs to be omitted from evidence of learning for an individual student, the teacher will flag the assessment as excused within the legacy gradebook. This will ensure that it also doesn't appear within the mastery gradebook. The final scenario is if a teacher is omitting individual measurement topics within an assessment with multiple topics. The classroom teacher decides that an individual measurement topic needs to be omitted from the evidence of learning for an individual student. The teacher will delete the grade for the individual measurement topic, leaving it blank. They will then add a narrative comment to be added to explain this change. This is useful if the assignment is meant to be scored on multiple measurement topics, but only one grade is needed to be omitted. In the next video of the series, we'll be looking at reporting and marking as well as narrative feedback.